Hello everyone, glad to see you again. Welcome back to Pacific Front channel. As the biggest archipelagic nation consists of 17,000 islands with 8.3 million square kilometer in territory and two-thirds of it is water, the sea plays an important part in the livelihoods of Indonesian people. For foods, transportation, energy, everything. We even have a childhood song telling about our seafaring ancestor. That's how deep our relation with the seas are. But controlling and safeguarding the sea is not an easy task. It's not something that you can capture and then put a fence around it. So the best thing you can do is by patrolling it. And one agency who is responsible for that is Bakamla, the Indonesian Coast Guard. On today's video, we're gonna look at the potential of the Indonesian waters, the challenges of safeguarding it, why we need the Coast Guard, and more. Stay tuned. Since our current president Joko Widodo took office in 2014, he had a vision of turning Indonesia into a world maritime nation. It's a concept and strategies for the direction of Indonesia's development policies in the 21st century. The goal is to make Indonesia more prosperous by protecting Indonesia's maritime interests and empowering Indonesia's maritime potential to achieve economic equality. This concept covers all aspects of life, including the development in infrastructure, politics, sociocultural, law, security, and economy. The enforcement of maritime territorial sovereignty, the revitalization of marine economic sectors, strengthening and developing maritime connectivity, rehabilitation of environmental damage and biodiversity conservation, and improving the quality and quantity of human resources are the main programs in an effort to reach the World Maritime Nations goal. The President also declared 5 main pillars to achieve this goal. First is rebuilding Indonesian maritime culture. Second is committed to maintaining and managing marine resources with a focus on building seafood sector through the development of the fishing industry by placing fishermen as the main actors. Third is to encourage the development of maritime infrastructure and connectivity by building sea highways, deep sea ports, logistic and shipping industries, as well as maritime tourism. Fourth is to establish a maritime diplomacy that invites all Indonesian partners to work together in the maritime sector. And fifth is building a maritime defense force. The economic potential if Indonesia can pull it off is gigantic. 206 billion US dollar per year and can absorb up to 40 million jobs in the maritime sector, from energy, fishery, coastal development, transportation, and more. It's two-thirds the amount of the yearly national budget. However, it's not easy to get there. As a result of UNCLOS in 1982 and Indonesia being recognized as an archipelagic nation, we have a huge responsibility. We are located between two continents, Asia and Australia, between two oceans, the Pacific and Indian Oceans, and manage 4 from 9 choke points in the world, along with around 40% of global shipping trade. We have to make sure those sea lanes of communications open at all times, because if there's any security threat and force these lanes to be closed, it will bring international response for that, and we don't want that to happen. Some examples of this are the Somalis pirate in the Indian Ocean and frequent pirate attacks in the Strait of Malacca in the early 2000s. Although it can quickly be taken care of by the Indonesian Navy. The second challenge is the development of geopolitics and geoeconomics in the regions. We all know, besides being one of the busiest shipping lanes in the world, the South China Sea is also rich in oil and gas, and there are a lot of fish. One country in particular wants to control all of it, but other countries say they have the rights to it too. Indonesia itself is not directly involved in the dispute, but sometimes fishing boat and coast guard from other countries enter Indonesian EEZ, harassing and stealing fish from local fishermen. Since 2014, such cases are declining thanks to the former Minister of Fishery direction to sink all illegal fishing boats captured when operating in Indonesian waters. The problem is, the agency who captured most of these ships is the Indonesian Navy. Using warship to capture unarmed fishermen or dealing with other countries' coast guard will only make us look like the bad guy. The Navy should not be in the forefront of this situation. As part of 5 main pillars to become world maritime nations, Indonesia established the Indonesian Coast Guard. The Indonesian Coast Guard, or Bakamla, was initially formed in 1972 under the name Maritime Security Coordinating Board, or Bakorkamla. a joint command of marine security and marine safety under a joint decree of 6 agencies: Ministry of Defense and Commander of the Armed Force, Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Justice, and Attorney General. Due to the development of the strategic environment we see today, it requires refreshment to improve coordination among various agencies. And through various decree, regulation, and law concerning the maritime security, in 2014, Bakorkamla was officially renamed the Maritime Security Agency or Bakamla, a non-ministerial government institution which directly reports to the President through the Coordinating Ministry for Political, Legal, and Security Affairs. Their primary mission is to carry out security and safety patrols in Indonesian waters and Indonesian jurisdiction, with 3 main functions: maritime security, maritime safety, and defense. They are a reserve component of the Indonesian Navy in case of war. According to Presidential Regulation Number 178 of 2014 on Maritime Security Agency, Bakamla has the authority to 1. Conduct an immediate pursuit, 2. Dismiss, examine, arrest, carry, and deliver vessels to relevant authorities for further legal process, and 3. Synergize the information system of security and safety in the territorial waters of Indonesia and the jurisdiction of Indonesia. This is why the Coast Guard is strategically important. Before, even though operating under one coordinating board, each agency had separate jurisdiction and regulation when conducting a patrol, while Bakamla has the authority to do all of them, shortening the chain of command and reaction time. The Bakamla operational area is divided into 3 maritime zones: Western Maritime Zone with headquarters in Batam, Riau Islands, overseas Java, Sumatra, and Borneo Island; Central Maritime Zone with headquarters in Manado, North Sulawesi, overseas Sulawesi, and Lesser Sunda Islands; and Eastern Maritime Zone with headquarters in Ambon, Maluku, overseas Maluku Islands, and Papua. In terms of ships, they currently operate 1 110-meter ships for EEZ patrol, 3 80-meter offshore patrol vessel, and 6 48-meter patrol boat. With the duties that they have to carry and the vast area of responsibility, 3 bases and 10 ships is not enough to cover all of Indonesian waters. I know they are still in their infancy, so building sufficient forces will take time. But I'm happy to hear some of their planned projects like adding 7 more bases, building long-range radar station and satellite surveillance system, and now they are allowed to arm their vessel with 30mm cannon. Still not big enough considering our adversaries using a bigger gun, but this weapon is for self-defense only, so I'll take it. They definitely need more funding though. With only $31 million per year, it's barely enough to maintain the operational readiness, let alone buying a new ships. I hope the government can put more money into this agency, because it's one way we can reach our goal of becoming a world maritime nation, by protecting our sea for the prosperity of our children. There you have it, the story of the Indonesian Coast Guard and Indonesian dream of becoming a world maritime nation. Can Indonesia do it? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.